I'd like to see Manny fight one time in the Philippines, and
Oh yeah,
whether it's a
maybe
rematch
Marquez.
with Jeff Horn.
Jeff
Let's get
Horn,
the
you
Aussie
want?
over there, yeah. And because I remember when Australia and the Philippines played in basketball, and it was an all-in brawl. Do you remember that? It was about 2 years ago. It was about 40 of the players all brawling against each other. Can you remember that?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember that. What basketball is a big sport here, so everyone
yeah,
was buzzing about it.
yeah. So the Aussies got their butt kicked in it. We were winning the basketball, but then we lost the fight, right? It
Yeah,
was an all-in brawl. And then I remember it was around the time when Manny fought Lucas Matisse in Kuala Lumpur. And
yeah,
obviously, I always get good banter with the Filipino people. They know I'm an Aussie, but I'm also like a Filipino, right? I'm you guys' friends. I said, why don't we do the basketball on Friday night at the arena in the Philippines, the one that Iglesia Ni Cristo owned? Is it
yeah. The big
the one
one,
in
Philippine Arena.
Bulacan? Yeah, we could do that. Friday night basketball, Australia versus Philippines, and Saturday night Manny Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn. We can have
Oh
Australia cover both fights and have both nations involved. Imagine the buzz we'd get doing that.
yeah. Definitely.
It'll be
It will be
sold
big.
out. Yeah.
Maybe we can get one of the from Team Australia and Team Philippines basketball player to also get into an exhibition bout.
You're thinking like a promoter now. I didn't even think that. Yeah, that could happen. That could
That will
happen.
be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure the Australian public would love it and the Filipino public would love it because we've got a lot of Filipino people that live in Australia as well, expats. So the viewing
Yeah.
audience would be massive. But obviously with boxing, you get these nostalgia matchups, but it's so hard to do because sometimes they're not on the radar. So it's just fantasy talk, if you know what I mean. But it's good to
Yeah.
talk this way anyway. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, what do you think is the biggest fight during the pandemic, at least, or at least the end of the year? What is the biggest fight that could happen in international boxing, you think?
Now, obviously, Bob Arum's doing fights that with no crowd, so they can't do the Tyson Fury and all those big heavyweight fights because there's no gate. But Lopez and Lomachenko, I like. I think that's going to be an awesome fight, and Lopez is definitely a future star of the sport. He's up there, and Lomachenko, obviously, he's only had the one defeat. It was his second or third pro fight up against Salido. He's so hard to beat. Lomachenko is such a wizard, and his amateur career was unbelievable, and as a professional, he's great. So this is going to tell us where Lomachenko is, and this will tell us where Lopez is, because a lot of people say, Lomachenko, he still fights like an amateur. He's boring. That's not how the pros are. He's done all this, but still not a lot of people watch him. He's not a pay-per-view star because of his style, like Rigondeaux, what have you. I said, look, he is a technician, and obviously doesn't because he's from that Ukraine, Russian background. They're not like Americans. They don't know how to sell themselves. They're not like Mayweather to come out and be brave. So he doesn't get the attention he deserves. But technically, he's a magician, and he's such a talented fighter. And Lopez is this hungry lion. That's the fight I want to see. Apparently, it's happening in September. I really do hope it happens because you've got two guys at their peak, really. They're not leaving it too long. They're fighting at the right time. And it's going to be interesting who wins that fight. I think Lomachenko might have a bit too much experience, but I think Lopez is going to give him so many nightmares. And I cannot wait for that fight.
Right. What percentage do you give? 100%. Which fighter are you leaning towards?
60-40 Lomachenko.
Lomachenko.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
because of the
That's fair.
experience and his being there, but I'm not discounting Lopez. He just seems to find the right punch at the right time, and he's always there to win, and he hasn't lost, so he's going to be so hungry, and they must be confident to be taking the fight. So even though he's so young, so I think 60-40.
All right. Yep. We have the same idea. How about Canelo Alvarez? Will he be fighting anything big? Because I've heard he's fighting, but they're not naming the opponent.
Yeah, I think there's a few opponents that are trying to get him, and he just won a light heavy, not just, but last year moved up, won 4 world titles, 4 different weight classes, and
Yeah.
I mean he gets so many pay-per-views through the Mexican people that he can do whatever he likes. He's a bit like Manny in the Philippines. He fights who he wants, when he wants, how he wants, because he's such a megastar now, and he's
Yeah.
transformed. I mean, there was talk that he might fight Triple G again for the third time, and then there was other talk that he's got to do his mandatory. So much happening, and you don't know. But when he's ready, I'm sure he can't fight during the epidemic because he needs the live gate because he
The
gets
like
big
it.
money. I mean, he gets guaranteed 30 million, I think, from his
From
TV
the zone.
broadcast network.
Yeah.
So I mean, they need to make money off that. It's not like it's going to be a cheap fight night putting him on. So they need live gates. They need the vaccination basically or to be coronavirus free, which is impossible in certain parts of the world. So we're all in a holding pad, I think. So it's going to be an interesting time for him as well because he needs to fight. And sometimes fighters might say, "I'll just drop my price to get a fight. I don't care about the money. I need to get in the ring. I'm sick of sparring, sick of being in the ring. I'm going to get in the ring." And that will start happening.
POWCAST Sports. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.